Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's your favorite ghost with another guide. Today we're going to talk about low spenders and free-to-play tanking teams. Now, we're not going to talk about any of the non-standard characters until the end of the video. I'm going to show you what's on standard and how to utilize these guys to just become a really good tank. With just the standard weapons you have. Like this team right here, severely underrated. When Saki is one more star, you're going to be able to control Fantasias with her skill. NA, when you switch to NA, you actually you taunt nearby targets. When you switch to this weapon, you prevent 1 instance of damage in the next 8 seconds, and you grant hyper body for 8 seconds. Super good, okay? And plus, when you use these two together, you're going to buff your Ice DPS teammates. So this is a really good team to use when you're using Ice DPS. Why Zero? Zero is by far probably one of the most underrated weapons in the game on the standard banner. Yes, he has an attitude, and I can't stand him, but his weapon is S tier, I promise you. Just like NASR is probably an A tier weapon for low spenders. Are free to play. Once you get Zero maxed out, you actually start dropping damaging orbs and healing orbs that your teammates can pick up, and they get a boost to their damage. That's not even why he's the best. The reason why he's the best is when you discharge onto him, you and allies in your area gain immunity for 3 seconds. That means they take no damage. So when you're a badass tank controlling the aggro of a fight, and you're paying attention to the enemy's skill patterns, and you can predict when that insta-kill ability comes out, like when you're fighting against the singer and she screams in some of this endgame content, she will insta-wipe your whole team. But if you discharge and you see that coming, you can save you and your entire teammates. He is by far the best weapon to have on your tank team, on your heal team, whoever's using him, and his matrices are even just as good. I use his matrices on him. I picked up a set already. So, first of all, his 2-piece. When using a discharge skill to switch to the current weapon, gain a shield. Boom. 4-piece. When the shield is active, you and your teammates deal additional damage. So when you're controlling a fight and you pull out Zero and you discharge and everybody gets a shield, and you're doing this at the right time, your teammates are going to be doing the burst DPS, and you guys are going to be communicating very well together, and you're going to time this stuff, and you're going to be able to utilize and just get the best out of this entire kit. So Zero matrices, even on a person like Coco, is just as good. Zero matrices on Zero is a good set. Go kill the frog in Artificial Island, get your Zero matrices. Okay, so obviously NA does a really good job taunting. Saki does as well with her abilities. Huma is okay, but you can lose aggro with Huma very easily, because the only aggro you really get from her is from discharging, and I think that's really it. Yeah, she's still a good weapon to use. But I'm going to tell you, NA and Sake, especially if your DPS players are using Ice Team, you can always swap in Shiro. If your DPS whales are using physical, you can apply Grievous during DPS phases as a tank instead of using Zero. If you guys aren't facing somebody like maybe Singer or somebody who's going to have the one-shot mechanics that you can avoid. So that's really it from standard. Now we're going to talk about traits. If your DPS has skill issues, you are going to use Saki trait. Okay, you're going to use Saki trait. If you're, like I said, if your DPS players on your team have skill issues, you will use Saki, because Saki I'll read it to you. When HP is lower than 70%, increase all resistance by 40% with an extra 60% increased frost resist. In the state of silent flow, after the sword shadow releases surge and blocks the attack, the teammates with the lowest HP percentage will get 3 block abilities, not including yourself, lasting for 10 seconds. The maximum blocking damage does not exceed 15% of the teammate's max HP, so they basically get to block some incoming damage. If your teammates are good and you do not have skill issue DPS players, the number 1 trait a tank uses is going to be an SR character. Echo. Echo's trait. This is where you're going to squeeze as much damage out as possible for that really tough endgame content, because your teammates are going to get a 6% damage boost when they're within 10 meters of you. That is your go-to trait. Now, let's talk about some of the other characters that you can pay to get. Okay? So we're going to talk about Lan. Lan being probably one of the better tanks in the game, just because she has skills that allow her to grab aggro very easily. Okay? So, definitely very good. Successfully using any weapon skill with a taunt nearby will taunt nearby targets for 2.5 seconds. When using Devastating Glide, the Vermilion domain expands, granting 20% damage reduction to enemies or to nearby teammates. When using Molten Heart, Vermilion domain's timer is stopped. Okay, so she's probably by far one of the best tank weapons in the game, and you can grab her at 1 copy. I have her at 2 because I use her on my DPS team. Another good tank, obviously, Mimi. Mimi's busted, man. Mimi's the type of character that's getting rid of Lyra off teams. And Lyra was fantastic and still is fantastic because Lyra heals and shields. But Mimi's shields are just so OP, and she just does so much damage that she just overshadows Lyra. But Lyra also fitting in to that could work, but usually the healer is the Lyra player. But Mimi being used on tank teams is opening the door for different combination of healing teams. So that's all I have for you. I hope you guys find this useful. That's my free to play, low spender, end game content. You can use this team with whales if you have, and if you farm matrices, you farm those 0 matrices, you farm Coco matrices. These are all good matrices to use as a tank team. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to stop by twitch.tv/TonytooGhost. I am going to be playing Tower Fantasy part of the day and Black Desert going forward part of the day as well. You guys are more than welcome to come join me and backseat me or laugh at me or come ask questions about Tower Fantasy no matter what game I'm playing. Once again, I appreciate all the support. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell, share this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell, get the notifications for the next time a new video goes up instantly. You can come check me out live at twitch.tv/TonytooGhost. I'll be streaming to YouTube very shortly as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you in the next one.